Olá e bem-vindos ao canal. Vamos continuar então com o Lone Echo e vamos ver o que é que acontece hoje.
Installation successful. Jack, your multispectral shielding should now be more resistant to radiation. Please note, however, that contact with biomass will still drain it just as rapidly as before.
Understood. Thank you, Juno.
Of course. Shields at 95%. Shields at 95%.
Apollo, is this the only way into the drive bay?
I'm afraid that's correct, Jack. The fuel cells are stable, but the same cannot be said of their contents. As a result, access is tightly restricted. The door can be opened, however, by using the nearby controls.
Apollo, are these the door controls you mentioned?
Correct. Unfortunately, it requires 2 operators.
Or more range?
Yes, the grid projector tool that Juno proposed could work.
I'll search the area for more cargo drones to scan. Apollo, can we rely on the remaining munitions to stay in place?
Affirmative. With the ship now stabilized, these warheads should remain safely stowed.
The Estrella must have seen a few battles in its day, huh?
While the Estrella's combat history is above your clearance level, Captain, I can share this. Until faced with the biomass, she was undefeated in battle.
And here I was thinking my helium harvest total has made for an impressive record.
A spent biomass torpedo.
Just like every other that was left behind here. Useless for my research, unfortunately. As soon as one detonates, accessing its incubator is no longer tenable.
Shields at 95%. Charging dock restored. Jack, now that we've completed optimizing your shield's radiation resistance, I'm afraid there's nothing more to be gained from the dock's data.
What's the point of an advanced network of semi-autonomous recharge stations if you can't count on them to calculate impressive optimizations for you?
believe you are correct, Captain. The distributed computing power of the charging docks could be put to greater use.
Yes. That's precisely what I meant. Go on.
I have tasked the charging docks with developing a means for allowing Jack's shield to self-regenerate. The wealth of empirical data they have collected on recharging should prove invaluable to the process.
Then I presume additional data scans would be of value after all.
Indeed. Please continue scanning any docks you may find. The additional computing power of more active units would be advantageous as well. Apollo, I believe I may be able to extend Jack's reach by about 4 meters. I hope that will be far enough.
Affirmative.
Just a few more scans should suffice, Jack. Shields at 95%. The stasis projection technology will be simpler to adapt than previously anticipated. If you scan one more cargo drone, I believe I will have enough data to complete your new tool.
O problema é encontrá-los aqui no meio. Pelo menos aqui perto, eu sei que tem ali dois pelo menos, mas... Será que aqui... Será que aquilo é uma coisa vermelha? Nós podemos ir lá ver. Estes são meus escudos a meio. Bem, na viagem podemos ver se conseguimos ver outro. Acelerar mais um bocado. Ali talvez. Eu acho que aquilo é um... Vamos só recarregar. Não. Exatamente, também foi o que eu pensei.
Shields at 95%. Tool schematics complete. Please visit a fabricator to install your new tool jack. Most charging docks will have one nearby.
Havia para aqui algures. Ali.
Grip projector installed. To use your grip projector, simply point at a target. Activate the projector and direct it with your hand. Any sufficiently small piece of debris would be ideal to experiment on.
If your new tool works as intended, Jack, you should be able to access the fuel cells now.
Good. Heading to the drive bay.
Shields at 95%.
I'm back at the drive bay. Armed with the grid projector this time.
Great. You should be able to remove those warheads now.
Interessante.
Warheads removed. Entry into the drive bay is now clear.
Copy that. Standing by.
Now heading for the fuel cells.
Great. We'll keep a working cargo drone on standby. Just look for a good fuel cell and we'll handle the rest.
Roger that. I've gained access to the drive bay.
Wait, those pillars in the center, are those?
The Astrea's FTL drives, yes.
Do they still work?
Theoretically. But unfortunately, they're of little use to us. With such a high concentration of biomass forms in this area, any attempt to remove one of the drives would prove futile.
Dr. Harlan, I'm noticing these ticks appear to be less evolved than those we previously encountered.
Must have
Mesmo assim matou.
carried over from the last time jump. No doubt just as dangerous. I advise avoidance at all costs.
Jack, my monitoring systems are offline here. You'll need to manually inspect each fuel cell in order to determine its viability. Simply scan their data ports to get started.
Ok, suponho que eu tenho que andar longe daquilo.
Shields at 95%.
Não. Não tenho comando. Ok, vamos lá ver. Isto. Isto. Vamos nos manter bem perto da parede.
Do we know what the biomass does specifically to an FTL drive to trigger a time jump?
I have a few theories.
As do I.
And I'm sure they're all equally preposterous.
The drive assembly looks remarkably like Dr. Harlan's FTL, if only a bit larger.
As I understand it, our drives were reverse engineered from the ones left behind on the Astrea 400 years ago. Their functionality hasn't improved since then.
Será que a gente consegue destruir uma coisa destas? Vamos ver.
It's alright, Jack. Just stick to the outer walls and try to avoid touching any biomass.
Sim, eu já me percebi disso.
Its AI pathing requires voice input.
What? No, You've got this, Jack. Don't worry, Doctor. If you run up against that many ticks, I'll be just as verbally encouraging.
Unfortunately, Captain Rhodes, being organic, I am permitted far fewer errors in judgment.
Jack, before we remove any fuel cells, you'll first need to check their condition. Access the data ports near the cells so I may expose them for your inspection. Exposing fuel cell for your inspection, Jack.
Empty. I'll have to keep looking.
Oh no.
Apollo, could one of these infected fuel cells still be full?
It is conceivable, Jack. However, the infestation renders it impossible for me to extract the cell.
Understood, Apollo. I'll check the other cells.
Accessing fuel cell. Jack, the data ports you need to access are located on the storage units running along the room's perimeter.
Another empty cell.
Apollo, you're sure there's a good fuel cell there?
I never said I was sure, Captain Rose. It's simply the most likely location on my ship to contain a viable fuel cell, if any were remaining.
Right. If any were remaining.
Exposing fuel cell for inspection.
This does not look good. These cells are all empty. Apollo, what are the chances that any of these fuel cells are still full?
The fuel cells were not designed for time travel, so unfortunately the odds of viability are incalculable. Scanning all their data ports will answer your query, however.
Viable fuel cell located. Hopefully enough to power Dr. Harlan's FTL drive.
Nicely done, Jack. I'm sending a drone your way.
Send 2.
What for? There's only one fuel cell.
Just trust me. Send 2.
Warning. Lead drone compromised.
Jack, what's going on?
The ticks swarmed the lead cargo drone.
And that is why you send 2.
I don't think we'll be using that one again.
Backup drone malfunctioning.
More ticks. The lead drone is disabled, but the backup still has a chance.
Pesky bastards, aren't they?
I'll clear them off.
Shields at 95%. Shields at 50%. Shields at 30%.
Não está fácil trabalhar com estes. Ok. Vamos lá trabalhar com isto.
Cargo drone cleared.
Acknowledged. Thank you, Jack. Resuming flight. Drone is in place to collect the cargo.
Jack, I've activated the release controls on the fuel cell.
Analyzing. It appears optimizations were being tested on this cargo drone's maneuvering thrusters. Assuming other drones were testing similar optimizations, scanning their data ports should allow me to reverse engineer the concept and apply it to your own maneuvering thrusters, making them more energy efficient.
Copy that. I'll see what I can do.
Excellent. I'll add a tracker to your data tab.
Fuel cell released.
Cargo secured. Ready for departure.
Excellent. The fuel cell still needs to be latched into place once it arrives, Jack. The honor's all yours, if you like.
I'll take care of it, Liv. I prefer to see the job through to the end anyway.
Okay, great. We'll see you in a bit.
Cargo drone returning in T-minus 10 seconds.
Better grab on or stay clear, Jack.
If you wish to return now, I advise taking hold of the drone. Cargo drone departing in 3, 2, 1. Firing thrusters.
The fuel cell is clear of the drive bay.
Great. We'll have some cargo clamps ready to receive it here. Surprised to see welders haven't changed all that much in 400 years.
That design is actually from a historical archive. It was the standard for most of the 23rd century. I'm afraid it's the closest approximation to a welder I could fabricate. I hope it's acceptable.
Perfectly adequate, Juno. Thank you.
Cargo inbound to destination. Decreasing speed for final descent.
Looking good, Cowboy Jack. Steady as she goes. Hookup controls are over near the cargo clamps.
Okay, wow.
Fuel cell in place and ready to be secured.
All you, Jack.
How will this fuel cell interface with the rest of the technology here?
We've made some modifications on the receiving end, but ultimately what matters is that it can produce a strong enough burst of power to jumpstart the FTL reaction.
A duty it should fulfill admirably. At least for a single jump.
Fuel cell secured.
Copy that. I guess you'll be heading to the research facility then.
That is where we'll be able to acquire a contained biomass sample, correct?
Indeed. I'll provide further details once you're on site.
Copy that. These units were used to refuel ships?
Yeah, input only now though. We got them hooked up to take in the contents of the gear you're collecting. Once we have both the fuel cell and the biomass container hooked up, we'll use these to route what we need to where we need it.
We are becoming quite skilled in bringing order to chaos.
Seems like we were built for this kind of work, huh?
Indeed.
Verifying. This drone was also being tested with maneuvering thruster optimizations. Keep searching for more when you can, Jack.
Acknowledged.
This dock is now part of the computational array. Connectivity restored. This dock is now aiding in the development of your regenerative shield, Jack.
Liv, are you feeling well? Given your infection, I wanted to make sure.
Thanks, Jack. Honestly, I feel fine physically.
And mentally?
fine there too, Dr. Jack. I mean, don't get me wrong. The state of this future is not great. But we've got a plan to fix it. And I've got work to keep me busy. Just soldiering on, you know?
Indeed. You'll let me know if your condition changes.
Of course.
Ok, eu estou a tentar abrir ali o...
How's your work here coming along?
Quite well, actually. For being 400 years into the future, this technology is pretty similar to what we're used to. I suppose an apocalypse slows things down a bit.
Understandable.
Still, the fabricators are quite handy. Juno's been printing me parts as I need them. Pretty cool, huh?
Agreed. I too believe the fabricators are quite cool. The speed with which they're able to reprint my shell is most impressive.
Indeed, I believe you'll find their efficiency impressive as well. A single high-density storage tank is good for hundreds of prints.
Now, if we could just find a way for them to print organic matter, they'd go from cool to perfect.
For coffee?
Of course, for coffee.
Data recovered. Network status connected. We're making good progress, Jack.
I have discovered some kind of embedded construction site here.
Records show it was part of the research facility's ongoing expansion. Apparently, more laboratory space for further testing of their experimental containment technology. There should be an airlock nearby that may allow you to explore further.
Muita biomassa.
I've located the entrance to the lab, but it's currently lacking power.
I'm detecting equipment nearby that may be worth investigating.
Será que eu consigo?
Warning, you are now entering an irradiated zone. It is most likely due to warheads and other debris from the Estrella. I've adjusted the coloring of the nearby field markers to reflect the level of radiation. Orange for light intensity, and red for heavy. Please exercise caution.
E foi o tempo que tivemos hoje. Não se esqueçam de deixar ficar o like, de subscrever e de partilhar. E de resto, fiquem bem, até à próxima. DragonWolf.